To call to order the City of North Ridgeville Planning Commission meeting for February 10th, 2026. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Members of the board, Ali is excused. Toth,
Here.
Schuman is excused. Winkle,
Here.
Smolik.
Here.
Members of the administration, Assistant Law Director Morgan. Here. Planning and Development Director Lieber. Here. City Engineer Evanson.
Here.
Okay, at this time, everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has all the commission members had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting on January 13th, 2026? Is there any corrections at this time? Hearing none, those minutes shall stand. Director Lieber, I believe there is some administrative approvals.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first approval was an administrative approval of exterior changes at Duncan, and that is the one on Lorraine Road. And so they'd proposed just a refresh of the facade, so basically paint and some new awnings, and then replacement signage to update, while they're also going to do some interior renovation. But through a little coercion, I also managed to encourage them to address the drive-through traffic issue. And so the traffic will now become one way around the building. So when cars pull in, they will loop the drive-through to then, around the building to then enter the drive-through to prevent, I should not have used the word coercion, especially on a video meeting, but expressed our concern about traffic that spills out onto Lorraine Road and the impacts it has to traffic in that very busy area, especially in the morning rush as people head to the highway. So we're very pleased that they were amenable to kind of restriping and redirecting traffic around the building, and we'll hope that that will eventually address that little snarly traffic area there on Lorraine Road. Also, approvals were granted for Healing Psalms, Massage Therapy and Wellness, both their zoning certificate, and we require any massage establishment to have a registration certificate. And then finally, Rays of Play is a business that took over a spot by a former business called Together and Play, similar developmental play groups for preschool and elementary students. So those were approvals since our last meeting. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Madam Secretary, at this point, we'll do new business. Please read the only application brought before the commission tonight.
PPZ 2026-0401, The Crossing at French Creek, 5725 Avon Belden Road, PPN 07-00-020-101-155, applicant Tom Sutcliffe, Dries Homes, 6860 West Snowville Road, Suite 105, Brecksville, Ohio 44141. Proposal consists of final plat for Phase 2 of the crossing at French Creek subdivision. Property is zoned R1 Residence District, Chapter 1282.
Okay, Director Lieber, findings of fact.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The crossing at French Creek subdivision is located on property zoned R1 Residence District and has been designed and is being constructed per the requirements contained in Chapter 1282, Single Family Detached and Cluster Development. So this development began before the code changes that went into effect that would not allow that kind of development, new development moving forward. The preliminary plat for the subdivision was approved by Planning Commission October 2023. Phase 1 final plat was approved in December 2024, and construction of Phase 2 improvements is nearly complete. And I understand from the Dries team that they have been selling out Phase 1 rapidly and are ahead of schedule and eager to get Phase 2 start to sell those lots as well. Phase 2 involves 28.42 acres of land and consists of 44 single-family lots and 7 cluster lots. The layout of the subdivision, the number of lots, the configuration of open space is the same as that was approved by the Planning Commission in the preliminary process. The total subdivision remains at 92 units as originally proposed. open space meets the minimum requirement at 10.13 acres or 20.1% of the development. Planning Commission's role in the final approval is to review those items listed in our zoning code. That would include the plat of the development area showing, the streets, the subdivided lands, common areas, the different lot types, and any easements, the detailed plans and specifications, detailed landscape plan, and the final form of covenants, running with the land like HOA docs. So the HOA docs were submitted for the previous, in the previous phase, so those will remain the same. Landscaping plans were submitted as a follow-up to our staff review meeting. I've had communication with the applicant about the lighting plan, which was approved by the city and is going through the process with First Energy. Some of the comments that came up during our staff review meeting was to show that the detailed plans meet all the zoning requirements, so they added a summary to the title sheet showing the zoning compliance, showing that the dwelling footprints conform to setbacks, which we verified are the same as the original approved. The city's requested access to Batner Ditch for maintenance purposes, and then there was also discussion that the original traffic study required a northbound right turn lane, and that would be deferred until such time as phase 2 is built out, and that a new traffic study could be conducted once all of the traffic has kind of settled into its patterns from the Rosabelle connection and also the development being complete. So that will be a condition that we will add to the developer's agreement, but we wanted the Planning Commission to be aware that that traffic improvement is still outstanding and will be determined based upon need at the time that the traffic pattern is finally established. And that concludes my report.
Okay, city engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In addition to what Director Lieber had already mentioned, engineering does usually prefer the following items to be completed prior to executing the plat when a performance bond hasn't been obtained. All utilities should be tested, which I think the water line still needs to be tested. As-bills received and reviewed, and I think we just got those a couple days ago. Concrete test reports reviewed and in good standing. Utility videos submitted and reviewed, which I'm not sure that we received those yet. Street name signs installed, any significant punch list items addressed, which unfortunately with the snow, it's been a little difficult for our inspectors to get out there and do a full punch list. So I think they started it today and maybe hope to finish that by the end of the week. All easement language to be reviewed on the plat, a 3-year maintenance bond at 10% of the construction costs for all implemented and approved improvements. And then specific to this project, we also will be requiring a maintenance agreement for the sanitary force main that resides within the public right-of-way but will be maintained by the HOA. And we'd like to have that recorded with the county as well when you record the plat. So, given all those things, I wouldn't be opposed to them moving forward, executing the plat, so long as a performance bond is put in place for the outstanding items with a mutually agreed upon value of those items. Barring that, I don't see any other issues. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant Law Director? No legal issues. Okay. I know, can the applicant please stand up and present any new additional information to the commission? And then whoever's speaking, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Katie Lancianis. I'm at 3200 West Market Street, Suite 104, Akron, Ohio, 44333. And I am the representative on behalf of Dries Holmes here tonight, and I have with me the engineers. First off, I wanted to thank you for hearing us tonight, and thank you for the reports. You're correct, the weather did hold us up on those items, but we are planning on wrapping everything up. I talked to the contractor this evening, and they hope to have everything wrapped up hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, and we'll have that amount over to you and prepared to file the easements and everything else that were requested. And just wanted to answer any questions if anything came up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Does anybody in the general audience have any questions or comments in regards to this project? Go ahead. Just go up and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Don Pincombe. I live at 5927 Rhonda. Can I point? Oh, there it is. Can I point to the map?
You sure can.
Changed it. So I own this property here, which touches this corner of the development and specifically this lot. I have some acres down here.
Okay, sir, do you mind going back to the podium? So that we have to record and make minutes. Thank you.
I have just a couple of questions. I was happy to meet with one of your engineers. What was his name? Mike Raven? Thank you. Who came out to visit me and my neighbor Jeff Greenberg and talk about that section of the development and how it may impact the adjacent property, ours. We were interested in learning that part of this area of the property on the Dree side has been declared as wetlands. And I just had a couple of questions. When you divide the lots, will the lot owner's property include the wetlands, or will it end at the beginning of the wetlands?
Yeah, you could go up and answer it. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Yes, the lot owner will own those wetlands, but there is going to be a permanent easement, which is part of what we're working with the city right now to mark on the plat. And not only that, we're working with a conservancy group that will come and administer and check on that. I forget how
What's the
often.
Conservancy? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't been informed.
Just, do you know how often they'll be?
It's only four-
They'll come in quarterly to inspect and make sure those wetlands are protected.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
welcome.
So the property owner will own the land, but they will know that they can't put their kid swing sets and they can't put their fences and they can't put whatever on the wetlands, and you're gonna come and check it once a quarter or so to make sure they're respecting the wetlands.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you. That was my interest.
Okay, is there any other members of the audience with any questions or comments? Hearing none, public, oh, go ahead. State your name and address for the record.
My name's Jeff Greenberg. I live at 5932 Sandalwood. My property is from there over up to Drake. I'm in that whole corner there. So that whole cul-de-sac of these new homes is behind my property for that buffer that I own between the wetland property, I guess we're talking about. And my whole issue was the drainage runoff, which we always have a problem with. And I think I spoke to you last time about this issue, okay? And now that the property has been pretty much developed, the roads are in, utilities are in, pretty much, I guess, getting ready to dig for houses soon, okay? But when that happens, those plots, before they're dug, they'll be deeded and exactly sized out so we know how far they're coming back, so those don't encroach on our properties, which there is a construction fence already, but that construction fence really isn't in the right spot that actually me and myself, Don, had looked at the time when they were doing the construction back there. So also that Inspector Runyon had said by the time they dig, there'll actually be a surveyed plot of exactly how far off the back of the homes it'll go back to our properties, so that it doesn't encroach our land, which we don't know that yet. It's just out there right now.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about how property pins get
Sure.
put in towards occupancy.
That's right. So we come in and we will mark all the corners of the lot themselves, and then prior to being able to dig or build, we have to provide a plot plan to the city for approval. That's part of their approval. In fact, it's going to notate that we're protecting the wetlands there as well. the homeowner and the builder
Because
will
I
be
have some
signing off on
wetlands
that.
on my side also.
Absolutely. Have to fit within a setback that's already determined, and that, I believe you can see on those smaller envelopes in there are the setbacks, so there can be no building past that point. And, they'll be regularly inspected by the city as we go through the building department.
So when will that be available, when that plot plan gets approved?
Yes, I imagine once the homeowner has chosen their home that's going on there, that plot plan will be submitted to the city along with the entire.
Who's doing the surveys for you guys?
David Tree?
Davey Tree?
Yeah, David needed engineering.
Okay.
Could I add, there are property pins all along that back section there. When you survey it, how do yours, as they line
Jive
up,
with
how do you
ours.
respect or compare what you do to
Ours
the
will be right.
pins that are there?
I'm gonna defer to our engineers now, so maybe Chris or Dan.
Well, who was our survey?
If you don't mind, state your name and address for the record. Tell them the original topo was done and with the original survey.
Yeah, my name's Dan Engel. I'm with Davy Resource Group, 13315 Spruce Run Drive, North Royalton. No, I'm the surveyor stamping the plat, and we did an original survey of the whole farm in 2023, and we determined the boundary lines, and that's what this plat is setting up, is where the new lot lines will tie into essentially your property line.
So we had our stakes put in from Barbosa.
Will Barbosa, I think he's well known to the
Barbosa,
city.
he was a surveying company for many, many years, so. And I think when you did that, at that time, I happened to be home and I saw whoever, maybe you guys or somebody, was pulling off our pins.
We were measuring the pin. Yeah, yeah.
So when we walked back there, Don and myself, a month or so ago, and we did call Brian Micah to come and meet us out there, he had said, until that final time comes that everything being actually set, then you'll know where the back of the properties are and where the wetlands are, and everything will be at that point in time, because those construction fences are well onto our property right now. And that was our question. That was we didn't know
Yeah.
that was that they're gonna move, if that's what you think they're gonna be, but from our plot pins that we have, your construction fences are in our side right now.
If I could clarify, when Jeff says construction, we're talking about the orange silt.
The silt
Yes,
fence,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yes, and that's what this meeting is about, is approving these lots. And once this is approved and the plat is filed, we're gonna set the property pins, which will be in a line with your pins from, I think you said Barbosa.
Barbosa.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
I just wanna make sure we don't encroach on our land that's little left there.
No, we don't wanna do that.
I know.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comments?
Well, the other question was about the drainage of the back.
Do you mind speaking into the podium microphone, please?
I'm sorry. I also want to know about the drainage off the back of that cul-de-sac that's coming back to our property, how that's being taken care of. I got everybody here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Schmidt with Davy Resource Group, 1310 Sharon Copley Road, Sharon Center, Ohio. I'm the civil engineer of record for the project. So the city requires individual yard drains for each lot. So that would be the intent, to catch the drainage on the lots.
A yard drain. for
That
each
ties into the
lot,
downspout.
okay. And then any retention basins? in
Yes,
that
on the
area?
north, well, everything ties into the basin on the north property line. So there's the big basin on the north property line. So all the storm sewer on this property for this phase ties into that basin on the north side of the project. In front of lots 42 through 48.
These rear yard things, he's back here,
I just hope they work better than my yard drain. That's all, because we get flooded. And if yours isn't gonna work as well as mine, I'm gonna get doubly flooded.
Well, we have to, the city has certain certain, the specs that we kind of have to meet in order, for the piping and for the pond sizing. So we had to meet that, and that was all approved by the city, so it meets all their specs.
That's all I have for right now.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public question or comment? Hearing none, public question or comment session is closed. Commission members, now do we have any questions or comments from the commission?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
This is the third act, basically coming here for approval on the crossings at French Creek. And I was wondering if I could speak for a moment with Mr. Sutcliffe regarding how this is all transpired together. Just like to go through everything and make sure nothing has fallen through the cracks at this time.
Tom Sutcliffe, Trees Homes, 6860 West Snowville Drive, Brecksville, Ohio.
Good evening.
Good evening.
At your preliminary approval, this meeting was held back on 10/10/23 when you first came forward. At that time, you had mentioned that this is going to be a Dries build only, no other contract or no other builders involved
That's
in this
correct. There will
project.
be no other vertical builders, just Trees Homes.
Okay, great. And you previously had mentioned here that you are employing West Creek Conservancy, is that Conservancy?
Yes, West Creek Conservancy out of Palmer, Ohio, and Derek Schaefer as director.
And they are going to monitor and ensure conservation areas are not encroached by residents, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you mentioned here this evening, that's going to be done on a quarterly basis.
Yes,
Okay. Also, as far as sewers, there was some talk, some going east, some going west.
Sure.
How did that all end up being resolved?
certainly. If you use the creek as the center point, everything west of the creek is gravity fed towards the sewer, the brand-new sewer out in the main road.
On 83?
Correct. And everything on the east side, we are pumping uphill into that system so it goes towards Center Road. So it's not feeding into the older system to the east.
So you're not going to be feeding into the Aspen
That's correct.
connection? Okay, fantastic. So you're able to get all that over to 83 then?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
That's good news. And the grinder pumps are going to be owned by the homeowners, and the HOA owns the forced main, correct?
That's correct.
Which I believe tonight it was brought up that that is going to be in a city right away, but you're going to work out an
The
easement for
HOA
that?
has in their declaration of bylaws, the maintenance responsibility for the 42-inch force main.
Fantastic. And also at that first meeting, you had mentioned there will be trails around the ponds and the French Creek area. Does that still hold true?
Yes, the ones on I don't know if the ones on the east side are constructed yet, but the ones on the west side are, and the east side is weather permits.
Okay. And what are those paths constructed out of? Is that an asphalt material? or-
asphalt material,
It's
correct.
asphalt? Okay. All right, moving on to the final approval of Phase 1. That meeting was held on 12/10/2024. At that time, it was determined that you were going to work with the city arborist for tree selection?
Yes, our company did. I was not part of that selection process, but we did.
Okay. I did notice that on the final landscaping plat that we got. Looks like you do have multiple varieties of trees there.
Yeah, they went multiple times with the arborist to make sure we had the right quantities and types.
Okay. Also at that time, there was the issue of an additional shade canopy tree planting area that was addressed due to some unapproved tree clearing. Director Lieber had asked that that be better enumerated in terms of the number of trees to be replanted in that area. On the landscaping plan we had provided to us today, it really doesn't call out the trees. I mean, we've got some different colored green dots there and so on and so forth, but really nothing concrete there. At that meeting back in 2024, the engineer stated that she felt that this could all be resolved without any type of problem, and I'm just wondering how we
I
ended
believe
up
we
there.
added trees to phase one to correct that problem. So we planted those with the previous phase to make up for the ones we took down by accident.
Okay, now, The drawing that we were given, is that, for the landscape plan, is that supposed to be representative of that, that area around the creek there? That
I'm not sure which plan you're looking at for phase one or phase two.
Actually, I think it showed your landscape plan was for both phases.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for showing that to me.
Right. So that right there, now, is that supposed to be indicative of what's going to happen here?
We
Okay.
plan to install what we submitted to the city, yes.
Okay. So I counted there 49 trees. Does that sound about right to you, Christina?
To your question, Mr. Toth, I actually let the arborist communicate with our field engineer as well as the applicant as to what they decided would be appropriate for the additional clearing. So I couldn't tell you what the exact number was that we ended up installing. Have to get back to you on that.
They worked hand in hand with the arborist, so
But you feel that this has been resolved to the city's satisfaction?
we wouldn't stop until it was resolved to their satisfaction.
I like that, sir. Okay, also, we have not seen a lighting plan throughout this entire process.
I believe one was submitted to the city. I think we submitted for payment, and they've seen the plan from the energy company.
That is correct. We did receive and approve with some modifications, the lighting plan.
Okay. And the utilities, this is directed to our engineer. All the utilities, locations have been approved? You're happy with all of that?
Well, there are a few outstanding items, but as I mentioned, if they're willing to put up a performance bond for those items that haven't been tested and approved, then we could proceed. But I would need the value of those items that haven't been accepted by testing, review of the testing, that they be included in the performance bond.
Okay. Well, we have a document in our package here from Guy, the chief building official, and he states here that everything on your plat there appears to be code compliant. So with that, I have no further questions, and thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toth.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions. Thank
ahead.
you. As I was reading through the staff comments and the staff summary from the planning review, I think Mr. Toth answered some of the questions where there was asking for detail in the lighting in the landscape, which I think we've covered already. One of the other comments, though, was Mr. Ferdinand mentioned a missed curve 17 on sublot 52, and through engineering, I want to ask if that was resolved.
I'm sorry, Mr. Winkle. What was the concern?
Mr. Ferdinand stated that there's a missed curve 17 on sublot 52.
A missed curb?
Curve
Curve.
17 on sublot
Oh,
52.
in the plat dimensions? Okay, well,
Is that one of
I'm
your items? Is that one of the outstanding items that you're referring to, or no? It's like
usually Mr. Fursden looks at all that. I don't usually look and make sure all the arcs and lines and bearings are on there, but I do know that engineering had some comments as well, so they'll be doing another revision, I'm sure.
Okay, and also mentioned that during the planning review that all setbacks were listed properly. Is that concern been resolved? Okay. And then the ditch access, is that via an easement for the ditch access to?
To your point, Mr. Winkle, we did, I think we had a conversation with the applicant regarding the access on that ditch that runs north-south, parallel to Ridgeville Boulevard. I think we talked about that maybe in a previous meeting. But we did ask for the city to have access through the common block over running north-south with that ditch as well. So we'll ensure that the language gives that authority, and we'll make sure that it's clear.
I appreciate that. Then the access would be achieved through an easement or an agreement?
Well, it'll be platted with an easement on the plat.
Okay, thank you. And then I noticed you said earlier, Ms. Evanson, about several engineering items, including a traffic study and contingent on a performance bond being issued to cover said items. So I guess my question is, without knowing that value at this meeting, would we be approving something, I guess maybe to the chairman, with a condition on it?
That would be a wise choice, yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Okay. I got some questions, I guess more questions in regards to easement. I noticed the retention basin has a conservation easement as opposed to a storm sewer easement. I'm assuming that was probably some type of typo.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. That was one of our comments. So we'll be scrutinizing that a little bit more. We just got that update like a week ago and we haven't had an opportunity to write all our comments and get back to the applicant, but it is our intent to kind of clear some of that up.
Okay. And then I had a question in regards, and maybe I never caught this before. The general storm sewer easement that's to the homeowner association. City of North Ridgeville isn't listed on that for the betterment of the community. Is my understanding that if the HOA like doesn't respond to something, the City of North Ridgeville could go in there for the betterment of the community. I think maybe we need to have law take a look at that language.
It doesn't specifically name. We've been trying to standardize the drainage easement language so that it's consistent across all of the residential subdivisions. So I will take a look at that.
Okay. And then I guess one point of clarification, the eastern, like this phase here, it's a sanitary force main. Is it with a lift station or individual grinder pumps at every home?
They are individual grinder pumps.
Okay, and so then the force main ends just on the other side of the creek?
It ends at the manhole on the east side of the creek.
Okay. All right, so all those homes have to be designed for that certain head loss getting to that point.
That was all submitted with the manufacturer's shop drawings and hydraulics.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's all I have. Is there any other further questions or comments from the commission? Okay, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to direct you to chapter 1282.08 of our zoning code here. Item A, it states, if the planning commission finds that the final subdivision plan of the single-family detached and cluster development is in substantial compliance with and represents a detailed expansion of the approved preliminary plan, that it complies with all of the conditions which may have been imposed in the approval of such preliminary plan, that all agreements, contracts, deed restrictions, dedications, declarations of ownership, and other required documents are in acceptable form and have been executed, that all fees have been provided and all payments made, and that the applicable provisions of the subdivision regulations have been complied with and certified by the city engineer, the commission shall then approve such final subdivision plan of single-family detached and cluster development. With that in mind, I make a motion to approve with the conditions outlined prior.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, should we add more language to the motion specifically pointing to the performance bond itself?
Yeah, I think my thoughts were for the conditions that a performance bond shall be established for all unfinished work as determined by Department of Engineering. And then the second condition will be the administrative review of all easements associated with the plat. Mr. Toth, is that, those
Yes.
conditions acceptable for
Yes,
your
sir.
motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I will second that motion with those conditions.
all right, perfect. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Toth,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Smolik.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. And I believe that is all that's on the agenda for City of North Ridgeville Planning Commission. At this point, meeting is adjourned. Good evening, everybody.